2 hours and $900 later. It's fine. Just drive. That red light stayed on. I was not getting on that highway until something inside me said, okay, we're good. Just got back from Beaver Creek Valley State Park. I had the brake light warning come on right in the middle of my dashboard. I had no signal, no cell phone coverage on my phone, no internet, and I had to drive like 10 minutes to the next town to chance if there is a mechanic around. And even as I was feeling this discomfort, there was a burning smell behind the car. Smelled so bad. And the more my body was like, I'm not driving. I'm not comfortable doing this. So thankful it was a Monday, that there was a mechanic in the small town near the campsite and that they could take me right away. We only had planned an overnight because I left my cat at home. He's blind now. He used to come with me on all the trips, but less stressful for him to stay behind. They were so nice. They took the car in, thankfully. They worked on it for 2 hours. They also accommodated having the dogs, Leia and Chewy, up in the car, up in the hoist. Got back in the car, reversed, and the light came back on. So I called the mechanic back and said, and I want you to hear this, he said, just drive around for a bit, the light will come off. And so I did, but that red light stayed on. So it came back. I had them look at it again and again and again. And I've been thinking about that moment since coming home that not so much about the brake light, that it's a great metaphor. It's the moment before the drive home. There's something happening inside me in that parking lot. My mind was being fed, being told by someone who knows cars that it's fine, just drive. And it's not that I don't believe them, but there was something in me that was not settled. My emotions were high. My body says, mm-mm, not getting behind that. Mm-mm. And something much deeper, my gut, my spirit, whatever you want to call it, it said, trust what you know, don't override it. And that right there, that gap between what I was being told and what I actually felt, that's what I want to talk about. Because I think a lot of leaders are living in that parking lot, not with a car, but with their work, their decisions, their leadership. Someone, a coach, a consultant, a mentor, your own mind, the TV, has told you you're fine, you're doing well, just push through, the feeling will pass. And part of you has been trying to believe that, but something in you keeps saying this doesn't feel right. Although you're making good decisions, they cost more time, more energy, more resources than they used to. You're tired in a way that rest doesn't fit. You're showing up for everyone, but you're disconnecting from yourself. So everything on paper says you're fine, you're good, but under the hood, the emergency brake is engaged. That's not something a mindset or strategy or better morning routine is going to fix. That is what I call the inner split. And that is the thing most leaders are carrying silently, invisibly, successfully for years. The inner split happens when the demands of leadership, the pressure, the responsibility, the expectations pull you away from yourself very gradually. It's very, very subtle. until the person running the meeting and the person inside you are operating from two different places. That's a split. Split between who you are and who you think you have to be. Split between what you feel and what you're performing, and split between your soul and your schedule. And the reason everything feels harder than it should isn't because you're underperforming. It's because you're using an enormous amount of energy before you even begin your day, just bridging that gap, just holding that split together so no one sees it. And that's the weight you're carrying, not the workload. It's the split. You cannot outwork it. You cannot discipline your way through it. You cannot take enough vacations to make it go away. You can only integrate it. Back in that parking lot, what I did wasn't complicated, nor did it take a long time. Although it did feel that I was inconveniencing some people. But I stood my ground. I refused to override what I actually knew. That red light was glaring at me overnight, and then the smoke. And prior to that, I had an experience where I was driving down the slope. I pushed the brake, but the car did not slow down. So that experience, plus the red light, plus the smoke, I just refused to override that information. I didn't dismiss my mind. I didn't suppress what I was feeling. I didn't push my body to just get in the car and drive. And I didn't ignore the quiet inner voice that said, wait. I let all of me speak. I didn't go behind the wheel until all of me was in agreement. Not agreeing with them, but in agreement with my whole self. That's integration. And so finally got in the car. I felt confident. We took the scenic route along US Highway 61 along the Mississippi River. The wind was so strong, another reason to white knuckle the drive home. But I wasn't gripping the wheel. I wasn't watching the red warning light. I wasn't bracing for something to go wrong. I was actually at peace. The bluffs, the river, the light on the water was all so beautiful. My senses were it just came alive. It was breathtaking. My eyes couldn't take it all in fast enough. And I realized, looking back, I wasn't scanning for what was wrong anymore. Even with the dashboard glaring at me, I was in total joy. Not because the problem disappeared. I still have an appointment on a Friday with my local mechanic, but because I was fully whole and alive at that moment. I made it home. My blind cat was at the door, waiting, warning light still on. And that may be the case, but I'll leave you with this. Don't ignore the warning. When something in you knows, don't ignore it. You always have the ability to find your way back to yourself, to the wholeness of yourself, even in the middle of an emergency. And all you need is this, all of you, present on the same road at the same time, whole, one, no parts left behind.